Good afternoon. I'm Dale Smith, Professor Emeritus of Military Medicine and History and the Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Welcome to the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, investiture of our 7th President, Dr. Jonathan Woodson. Please remain seated for the academic processional. Please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome. What a momentous day. We are truly pleased you have joined us in Charles L. Rice Hall for the investiture of the 7th President of the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, Dr. Jonathan Woodson. The President's investiture is a time-honored ceremony and an important milestone in the history of the institution. On stage are members of the USU Board of Regents, the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness, the Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs, the Deans of Schools and Colleges of the Uniformed Services University, and representatives of the university's faculty, staff, student body, and alumni. We are also joined today by distinguished presidents, provosts, deans, and delegates representing Harvard University, the University of Pennsylvania, Emory University, Boston University, the University of Maryland, Virginia Union University, Virginia Polytech Institute and State University, the University of Miami, and the City University of New York. Thank you all for your presence and the support of the Uniformed Services University. Today we celebrate Dr. Jonathan Woodson and Mrs. Cheryl Woodson. It's a pleasure to have their daughter, Dr. Sarah Woodson Smith, who sits among her fellow USU faculty members in the audience with us today. And although he's unable to be here today, we would like to acknowledge their son, Jonathan, a neuroscientist at the University of Massachusetts. At this time, I'll ask you to rise as you are able for the national anthem to be played by the U.S. Army Band, Pershing Zone's Brass Quintet, and to remain standing for the invocation of the Uniformed Services University Chaplain, Lieutenant Commander Anthony Coniaru.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, strong to save, we gather here this afternoon in distinguished company to witness a time-honored ritual, and in particular, the inauguration of the 7th president of this great university. Bend your ear to us as we offer a prayer of thanksgiving for Dr. Woodson, who on this day receives the instruments and symbols of power and authority of the office that he now occupies. We're thankful for the diverse experience and knowledge he brings to this important office. We pray you continue to give him wisdom as he leads our university into a future of advancing military science and medical practice. We thank you for he has been appointed for such a time as this. Give him the words to speak when he advocates for us with all stakeholders, and then give us patience to what you are doing. And if challenging times come knocking, we pray you give him the strength to stand and lead us. May he and his family know peace and protection that surpasses all understanding. So we petition a blessing for him and his family, our great university, our military and civilian leaders, and this United States. It is in your strong name that we ask. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. And our thanks to the Army Band's Brass Quintet. Please be seated. This time, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the official party and some of our distinguished guests attending today's ceremony. Please hold your applause throughout the recognitions. The Honorable Gilbert Cisneros, Jr., Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. Ms. Celine Mullen, Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs. Dr. Nancy Dickey, Chair, Uniformed Services University Board of Regents. Dr. Charles Rice, President Emeritus of the Uniformed Services University. Dr. Jonathan Woodson, President, Uniformed Services University. Dr. Eric Elster, Dean, F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine, Uniformed Services University. Dr. Carol Romano, Dean, Daniel K. Inouye Graduate School of Nursing, Uniformed Services University. Dr. Drew Fallis, Executive Dean, Postgraduate Dental College, Uniformed Services University. And Dr. Lua Peleo, Dean, College of Allied Health Sciences. Army Second Lieutenant Cedric Fry, a student in USU's School of Medicine class of 2025, was introduced to poetry by his grandmother, sitting at her house, reading her works and that of other poets. He learned poetry's accessibility and unique beauty. Second Lieutenant Fry, I now invite you to the podium for a poetry selection.
So when I was asked to do this, I reflected on change, and I thought I would find a poem that had good change within it. And then as I continued to reflect, I chose instead a poem that shows the service that is unique to this university. What I chose was written by Mr. Walt Whitman, and I will read it for you now. Bearing the bandages, water and sponge, straight and swift to my wounded I go, where they lie on the ground after the battle brought in, where their priceless blood reddens the grass on the ground, or to the rows of the hospital tent, or under the roofed hospital, to the long rows of cots, up and down each side I return. To each and all, one after another, I draw near, not one do I miss. An attendant follows, holding a tray. He carries a refuse pail, soon to be filled with the clotting rags and blood, emptied and filled again. I onward go. I stop with hinged knees and steady hand to dress wounds. I am firm with each. The pangs are sharp, yet unavoidable. One turns to me, his appealing eyes. Poor boy, I never knew you, yet I think I could not refuse the moment to die for you, if that would save you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Fry. The USU Board of Regents provides advice and guidance to senior DoD leaders and works to ensure that USU fulfills its mission of education, research, leadership, and service for the benefit of the military health system, the nation, and the world. The board is chaired by Dr. Nancy Dickey. Chairman Dickey, I invite you to share a message on behalf of the Board of Regents.
It's an honor and a privilege to say a few words at the investiture of Dr. Jonathan Woodson as the 7th president of the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences. It's quite appropriate that this exceptional university should be led by an exemplary leader. He's a soldier, a physician, a researcher, an academician. He brings a broad skill set to this role. And as the Board of Regents, we are delighted to stand beside him, to have the opportunity, indeed the obligation, to provide advice and counsel to Dr. Woodson and his team as they strive to excel as one of the finest institutions in the United States, training tomorrow's health professionals. While Dr. Woodson brings singular breadth of experience to his role, he has at his side a Board of Regents that brings its own breadth of experience, from military command and leadership expertise to academic experience across many roles, from a variety of geographies and a wealth of perspectives, each of which we will willingly share with him, and I suspect occasionally even engage in some spirited discussion. It's our goal to join with and support Dr. Woodson and his team as he transforms his vision from words to reality. President Woodson has actually served on the Board of Regents, so he knows well the roles and the opportunities that we have, and he knows that we are a resource to be called upon to facilitate achieving even greater things for this university. The boards is a culture of inquiry and subsequent meaningful and forthright discussion about issues that impact the institution. So while Dr. Woodson delineates his vision in research, in leadership, in education, he can look to the board to challenge, to question, and ultimately to advocate for strong steps forward. Our role is not only to provide advice and consultation to President Woodson, but also to be engaged in representing the university to the community, to the many communities that are served. Our individual and collective voices can reach many audiences, and we hope President Woodson will feel free to call upon those voices to add to his own. Today is not, however, about the Board of Regents other than our commitment to work side by side with Dr. Woodson. It's about the President of the university. We welcome you, President Woodson, and look forward to working with you to empower you to develop strategies and partnerships that will propel the university forward into achieving ever more excellence and exceptionality for our health professionals that are trained to take care of those who go in harm's way, their families, and ultimately for the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dickey. The Uniformed Services University is the nation's only federal health sciences university and falls within the United States Department of Defense. We are honored to be joined by the Honorable Gilbert R. Cisneros, Jr., Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. Secretary Cisneros, I now invite you to share a message on behalf of the department.
Thank you very much for that introduction, and it's a pleasure to be here on this wonderful occasion in the installment of Dr. Woodson as the 7th president of the Uniformed Service University of the Health Sciences. USU is celebrating its 50th year, its 50th anniversary. Since its founding, USU has educated, trained, and developed adapted and dynamic physicians, nurses, healers, and leaders. If war on the battlefield is the dark side of the human experience, medicine has always been the light, and that light begins here at USU. Over the years, USU has grown to become a national asset, which now boasts over 11,000 alumni among its 4 prestigious schools that provide care for our service members both on and off the battlefield. In addition to the School of Medicine, it includes the Graduate School of Nursing, the Postgraduate Dental College, and the College of Allied Health Sciences. USU has a vast array of graduate programs in biomedical sciences, public health, health professional education, and health policy. It is home to an exceptional group of centers dedicated to research that improves the lives of our service members and their families, as well as the public. Through education and training at the school, the students develop confidence and capabilities to deliver selfless service here at home and anywhere in the world, including the most astute and uncertain environments. In order to forge ahead, we need leadership that will inspire and continue USU's unequaled joint military medical education, training, and research. Dr. Woodson is that leader. Dr. Woodson's impressive career spans the full spectrum of medicine and service, physician, educator, and senior public servant, both as a civilian and as a retired Major General in the United States Army Reserve. We know there are challenges ahead, but I cannot think of anyone more qualified than you to lead the USU into the next generation. On behalf of the leaders at the Department of Defense, congratulations on your installment as president.
Thank you, Secretary Cisneros. The Uniformed Services University provides the education and leadership development foundation upon which the unsurpassed success of the military health system is built. It is my distinct pleasure to invite Ms. Celine Mullen, Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs, to the podium to deliver a message on behalf of the military health system.
Dale, thank you very much for inviting me here to be today. It is truly an honor to join you, Dr. Woodson, Secretary Cisneros, and all the distinguished guests as we celebrate the investiture of such a great leader. The dictionary defines investiture as the, quote, action of formally investing a person with honors and rank, unquote. And that is certainly what we are doing here today. However, it struck me as I read the definition that while we are investing Dr. Woodson with the honors and rank due to his position, he is also investing in us, in our country, in our military health system, and more importantly, in our future. His leadership in educating and inspiring future generations of military medical leaders is an investment beyond calculation and one we should all be grateful for. Dr. Woodson's willingness to take on this responsibility at a time of great challenge for healthcare in all sectors and parts of the globe is further demonstration of his commitment and dedication to public service. The combination of medical experience, administrative leadership, policy development, and academic excellence that he brings to this position is as rare as it is critically important. I look forward to working closely with you, Dr. Woodson, and your team of leaders here at USU as we meet the challenges before us and offer both my gratitude and my most sincere congratulations on your appointment. Thank you.
Dr. Woodson, would you join Ms. Mullen at the front center? The academic mace is a historical icon representing the authority of the university to perform its mission of education, training, research, and service to the nation. Ms. Mullen will now pass the mace to Dr. Woodson, who is hereby entrusted with it and the authority it represents as the president of the Uniformed Services University. The Uniformed Services University has had 6 previous presidents since it was founded in 1972, and it's important to recognize them all. The university's first president, Dr. Anthony Carreri, served from 1974 to 1976, and he was succeeded by Mr. David Packard, who served as president from 1976 to 1981. The university's third president was Dr. Jay Sanford, who served from 1981 to 1990. Dr. Sanford was followed by Dr. James Zimble, a former Surgeon General of the United States Navy, who served as university president from 1991 to 2004. Dr. Charles Rice served with distinction from 2005 to 2016, followed by Dr. Richard Thomas, who served from 2016 until 2021. Dr. William Roberts served as acting USU president from 2021 to June of 2022. We are honored today to have Dr. Rice, Dr. Thomas, Dr. Roberts here with us. Dr. Rice, Dr. Thomas, Dr. Roberts, would you please rise? Thank you for joining us in recognizing the contribution these men have made to the university's success. Army Major Kristen Lewis is a member and president of the Daniel K. Inouye Graduate School of Nursing class of 2025, and a student in the Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Practitioner Doctoral Program. Major Lewis, I invite you to the podium for a short presentation.
Good afternoon. Dr. Woodson, on behalf of the Graduate School of Nursing, congratulations and welcome to USU. In the profession of nursing, we incorporate the lighting of a lamp of knowledge to welcome nurses into their chosen profession, to celebrate the value of a university education, and to impress upon everyone in attendance the significance of the commitment that is being made. Today, we light this lamp to welcome Dr. Woodson as our new university president, to celebrate the contributions you have made and will continue to make to education, and to recognize the significant commitment you have made as president of USU.
Thank you, Major Lewis. The Uniformed Services University is made up of the F. Edward Hebert School of Medicine, the Daniel K. Inouye Graduate School of Nursing, the Postgraduate Dental College, and the College of Allied Health Sciences. Our students are a mix of uniformed and civilian, officer and enlisted, with significant diverse backgrounds. What they all have in common, however, is a desire to serve our nation. I'm honored to invite Ms. Rama Atkar, a PhD candidate in our Emerging Infectious Disease Graduate Program, to deliver a message on behalf of the entire USU student body.
Thank you for that introduction. I stand before you today hoping to represent the entire student body at USU, and I hope that my remarks today reflect their thoughts as well. As Dr. Smith mentioned, commitment to service is a shared purpose for students at USU, and it drew me in when I first accepted my offer to attend. But as a civilian graduate student surrounded by military faculty and peers, how did I fit into this picture? More than 6 years later, I found my answer, and it has reshaped the view I have of what it means to serve. Service in the form of taking our academic knowledge to the underrepresented communities that need it the most. Service in the form of putting our training into action in the wake of a global health emergency. Service in the form of intentionally and unintentionally saving people on your days off. Dr. Woodson exemplifies this commitment to service in spades. His career has spanned military, government, and academic service, and we are grateful that he has come full circle to continue his leadership at USU. In just a few months following Dr. Woodson's swearing in as president, he has already shown a remarkable ability to connect with students across the university and provide invaluable support to student-led initiatives meant to modernize health sciences education. With Dr. Woodson at the helm, we look forward to this new stage in the university's history, being built on the lessons of the past, the needs of the present, and the promise of the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Atkar. The achievements of our faculty in education, leadership, scholarly activities, and service reflect greatly upon this university, and their extraordinary contributions enhance our reputation globally. Their research accomplishments and creative discoveries continue the position of USU as a top research university, conducting studies of critical importance to our nation's readiness and national security. Dr. Ernest L. Lockrow represents the outstanding body of educators and scientists. Professor Lockrow, I welcome you to the podium to share a message on behalf of the faculty of the Uniformed Services University.
Hey, I'm honored to have this opportunity to welcome Dr. Woodson as our 7th president of the Uniformed Services University. I first met Dr. Woodson in 2011 when I was the integrated chair of the Department of Gynecologic Surgery and Obstetrics during the closing of the old Walter Reed. And he was serving then as the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs. And he was gracious enough to come and attend our closing ceremony at the Women's Memorial in Arlington for the Women's Health Clinic at Walter Reed on Georgia Avenue. He carries that same supportive nature into his new role as the president of the university. On behalf of the faculty, we are fortunate to have someone of Dr. Woodson's caliber who cares about the Uniformed Services University and is willing to work and collaborate with the faculty to help move us forward in the mission of our university. We are all proud to serve with a proven academic and military leader whose vision and commitment have led to meaningful and productive contributions by the Uniformed Services University to both military and civilian medicine and education. We look forward to supporting Dr. Woodson in all of his efforts to address a rapidly changing military health system and not lose sight of what has made us a model for outstanding education and essential programs of research and patient care. We all know that scholarship and education are essential to excellent patient care. And more than any other institution, the faculty of the Uniformed Services University understands what a promise of expertise and duty looks like to the warfighter and caring for those in harm's way. Again, Dr. Woodson, we're blessed and thankful to have you as our 7th president of the university.
Thank you, Professor Lockrow. The expertise of the Uniformed Services University staff supports the breadth of our academic and research missions. They maintain our campus and make it an inviting place to work and learn. Speaking on behalf of the Uniformed Services University staff, I'm pleased to invite Dr. Pearlette Pullen to deliver a message.
On behalf of the staff members here at USU, Dr. Woodson, I am honored and proud to congratulate and welcome you as the 7th president of USU. Your experiences and expertise in a myriad of areas provide you with the breadth of understanding about the role staff plays in supporting your vision for USU. It is our belief in the mission of USU that drives us to diligently work to uphold the values that make this great institution what it is. As your staff, we are fiercely committed to helping advance and achieve the collective goals of our individual departments and the university as a whole. We are excited to finally and formally welcome you to USU. And on behalf of all the staff members, we wish you the best of luck as you write the next chapter in our university's history. We welcome you and look forward to working with you. Again, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Pullen. Graduates of the Uniformed Services University are a unique group, bound together by a commitment to serve our nation and to care for our service members and their families. The relationship formed at USU carry into their careers, no matter where they are. The bonds they forge keep them connected and engaged with the university and will last a lifetime. I welcome Dr. Leon Moores, president of the USU Alumni Association and School of Medicine class of 1990, to deliver a message on behalf of the more than 11,000 USU alumni worldwide.
Thank you, Dale, and thank all of you for attending. I really appreciate the privilege to be able to represent those greater than 11,000 alumni today at this investiture. President Woodson, distinguished guests, as I thought about this, I reflected back on nearly 2 decades of interaction that alumni have with Dr. Woodson and thought we would summarize a bit of those interactions in our impressions. It seemed that Latin would be the most appropriate language to use, theoretically a dead language, but we certainly use it a lot in medicine. The first word that came to mind was gravitas. When you first meet Dr. Jonathan Woodson, you recognize that he is a serious man. It is not because he doesn't have a sense of humor, because he does, but rather because his intellect and his ability to not speak just to hear himself say something, but when he really has something to say, means that you should be paying attention when he does. Ministerium, specifically ministerium super se, service before self. With Dr. Woodson's intellect, energy, drive, moral foundation, there are many things he could have done with his life, many more lucrative, potentially many more famous than what he's done. But from the beginning, service in medicine, the military, Assistant Secretary of Defense, and now here, he's chosen a path of service for which we very much appreciate. And finally, equanimitas, made famous by Osler, but dating back centuries before that. The current vernacular lists that as unflappability. I prefer calming the storm, and in numerous interactions, we've seen things going to you-know-where in a handbasket, and Dr. Woodson can walk in and calm that storm, the type of leader who can reassure everybody that with our efforts and our collegiality and our communication, things are going to be okay. I can say on behalf of the alumni that when we first saw your name on the candidate list for this position, we were excited. And yet, when the selection was made and you accepted, we were uniformly ecstatic. Congratulations, sir. Best of luck. Let us know how we can help.
The ancient Greeks believed there was a connection between music and health. They put the god Apollo in charge of both. On our own campus, we are fortunate to have a number of talented students who are part of the USU Apollo Society, created to share and celebrate the artistic talents of the community. Army Second Lieutenant Jackson Watkins is a member of the School of Medicine class of 2024 and is one such student. Second Lieutenant Watkins. Thank you, Lieutenant Watkins. I am now pleased to introduce USU President Emeritus, Dr. Charles F. Rice. Dr. Rice served as president from 2005 to 2016. During his tenure, he was a staunch advocate for the university and its faculty. Among his numerous accomplishments as president, Dr. Rice established the University Postgraduate Dental College and the College of Allied Health Sciences. He worked to get legislation to keep faculty staff salaries competitive. He enhanced relationships between USU and the National Institutes of Health, and he established the Enlisted to Medical Degree Preparatory Program as a pipeline for promising enlisted service members to become military physicians. Before serving as president USU, Dr. Rice served as vice chancellor for health affairs at the University of Illinois, Chicago, and previously vice dean of the University of Illinois, Chicago College of Medicine. Dr. Rice, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for that very kind introduction, Dr. Smith. Having to follow Bach is a spot I wouldn't even give my cleaners. It's a great honor and a privilege to be here with you today, just as it was to serve as president of this extraordinary institution for 11 years. Those who have invested a significant portion of their lives and careers in an enterprise want to see it flourish and rise to new heights. That's why I could not be happier about what brings us here today. My own alma mater has as its motto, et docere et rerum exquirere causas. You're not the only one who can use Latin, Dr. Moore. In the event your Latin is a little bit rusty, it translates to teach and to inquire into the nature of things. And if you add et servire, to serve, it sums up neatly, I think, what a university should be doing. Our university does those things with distinction. The president of the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences has the privilege of leading one of the most extraordinary and essential institutions of higher education. No health professionals anywhere serve a more worthy, more honorable group of patients than do we. We care for those who put their lives at risk for our nation at home and abroad. In our shared sacrifices and service, USU makes immense contribution to America's health, safety, and security. We are the only institution in the United States that explicitly focuses on educating leaders in military healthcare. Our faculty, staff, and alumni support the readiness of America's defenders, shape science, cure diseases, mend physical and psychological wounds, and reach out to communities around the globe. USU community embodies the very best of the military and the healthcare professions. I've often been asked by colleagues at other institutions what it is that makes USU different. There are many answers to that, of course, but the one that I think is most salient is that at USU, everyone knows what the mission is, and everyone buys into it. Since this university was established a half century ago, the people of USU have helped to make it a better, safer, and healthier world. We care for those in harm's way, and we work to sustain the peace at home and abroad. USU plays a critical role in national defense in times of war and peace. During the recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the military health system achieved the highest rate of survival from battlefield injury in the history of the world. In the field, USU's alumni, over 11,000 strong, have deployed to some of the most challenging and dangerous environments in the world and care for countless thousands of wounded and sick members of the U.S. Armed Forces and their families. They've gone on to serve in key leadership positions in the military health system, the public health service, the armed services, and in civilian life. These include surgeons general, deputy surgeons general, astronauts, physician pilots, and many other key roles. I'm especially proud of the program that offers an opportunity for our enlisted members to become military healthcare officers. Nearly 200 have now entered that pathway. USU faculty and alumni conduct path-breaking research in spheres from traumatic brain injury to rehabilitation, to wound healing, to emerging infectious diseases, to vaccine development, and to so much more. Much of this has been done in collaboration with colleagues at the National Institutes of Health, Department of Defense laboratories, and civilian institutions, and with the essential support of partners such as the Henry M. Jackson Foundation. Everything I've shared so far relates to the history of our first 50 years. It's a remarkable record in which all of us can take great pride. Today, we recognize that the years ahead will pose more challenges and more opportunities. The impact of COVID-19 has reverberated throughout the world and continues to do so. The pandemic forced us to quickly change our delivery of course material. We'll need to be prepared to make additional changes, particularly in light of generational differences in learning styles and the emergence of new educational technologies. Just as military health has quickly adapted to changes on the battlefield, we must be prepared to adapt to changes in the classroom, whether physical or virtual. Let me suggest a few. Although we can change the delivery of information typically delivered in lectures or small group discussions, there is no known substitute for active clinical experience. Thus, we must help ensure the stability of the military health system where we gain so much of that experience. We have learned that an individual's zip code is as important a predictor of health as one's genetic code. Although health professions education has begun to grasp the importance of the social determinants of health, currently they are inadequately studied and taught. We should consider partnering with nearby institutions to incorporate anthropology, sociology, and economics in our teaching and our research. Our focus on research must always put the health of our warfighters and their families first and foremost, and that will, of course, continue. Moving forward, I believe that we should consider partnering with institutions with expertise in engineering to add the approach that discipline offers to our research initiatives. We must always be open to new perspectives to help us as we carry out our mission. We can be proud of the advances we have made in interprofessional education. Our frontline warriors strive to train the way they fight. We should educate the way we practice. We must seek additional opportunities to focus on better recruitment and development of the workforce. Last, certainly not least, it is imperative that USU continues to incorporate leadership development throughout the curriculum, and the General Ronald H. Griffith Center will sustain and help and enhance that effort. To fulfill this ambitious vision and to successfully adapt to changes we cannot even imagine today requires someone of exceptional stature, experience, and vision. The seventh president of the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, we have just such a leader. Now, while most people would be justifiably proud of succeeding in one or two realms in life, Dr. Jonathan Woodson has excelled in no less than 5. He is the devoted husband of Cheryl and the proud father of Sarah, a Navy neurologist, and John, a research scientist. He is an accomplished and highly regarded clinician in trauma, critical care, and vascular surgery. He is a distinguished scholar and academic leader, having served as a professor, senior associate dean, and director of a multi-school institute at Boston University. He has had an exemplary military career with multiple deployments, promotion to Major General in the Army Reserve, and service as Assistant Surgeon General for Reserve Affairs. He is a former senior medical officer with the National Defense Management System, through which he responded to the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center. In public service, nominated by President Obama and confirmed by the Senate, he served with a distinction as Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs from 2010 to 2016. And in that role, he was the best boss I ever had. He's certainly no stranger to this institution. having been a member of our faculty for decades and serving as a member of the Board of Regents, including being its chair. In many respects, then, this celebration is just as much a homecoming as an installation. A great university needs and deserves an extraordinary leader. With Jonathan Woodson as its president, I'm supremely confident that USU is in very good hands. My pleasure and distinct honor to welcome the 7th president of the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, Dr. Professor Dean General, the Honorable Jonathan Woodson.
Thank you, Dr. Rice. I now ask Dr. Nancy Dickey, as chair of the USU Board of Regents, to return to the podium for the awarding of the Presidential Medallion and Chain of Office. Dr. Dickey, could you please present and confer the medallion and chain of office to President Woodson?
Dr. Woodson, would you join me here at the podium? The medallion bears the Uniformed Services University seal and was first presented to President Charles Rice at his investiture in 2005. Dr. Woodson, you are now the 3rd president to wear this medallion as a symbol of the office for all formal academic functions, including commencements and convocations. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now extremely honored to provide Dr. Woodson with the medal on our behalf, and congratulations on behalf of the entire community. And we're going to hope, this is heavy, this is very heavy. Actually made it, how about that?
Well, good afternoon. You know, when you get older, you get a little sensitive about these ceremonies that bring out your life's history. You wonder if there's a coffin waiting off to the side there. So bear with me if you will. But thank you all so much for being here this afternoon. And, all of the contributions of our uniformed personnel this afternoon just adds something spectacular to the ceremony. So I want to thank again our Army Quintet for your superb contribution, musical contribution. Really creates a special atmosphere. Let's give them a round of applause. Lieutenant Fry, thank you for that reading. It was special. It was particularly, I think, apropos to the moment. So thank you for your contribution. Major Lewis, we really appreciate you being part of the ceremony and lighting the candle so it can show me the way, okay, as we go forward. Dr. Lockrow, we've shared some same ground before, and I know you'll have some visit to my office in the future, so thank you very much. Lieutenant Watkins, spectacular. Now, this is an example of what the quality of we have in the student population, and he deserves another round of applause. And as the saying goes, there's more. In terms of the contributions to the ceremony, will be the dermatomes. But while I'm up here, I wanted to make sure I thank them for what they do in terms of adding special quality to ceremonies. We rely on them a lot. And so, I often worry about their studies because we call on them to be part of so many ceremonies. But the dermatomes and the Apollo group, this is just a wonderful place to be. Honorable Cisneros, Ms. Mullen, Surgeon Generals, my friends now in the battle, okay? Distinguished visitors, distinguished visiting scholars, regents, deans, USU faculty and community, alumni, family, and and friends of USU, most notably Lieutenant General retired Ron Blank, former chairman of the Board of Regents, and Commander retired Everett Alvarez, who's given so much to this country and so much to USU over the years. Twice chairman of the Board of Regents and probably the longest serving regent for 21 years. Is that correct? And Mrs. Alvarez, they are spectacular sponsors of the USU. Let's give them a round of applause. And thank you all for being here this afternoon. So it is really truly an honor to serve as the 7th president of Uniformed Services University. And at this point in my career, I could think of no better job, no better place to be. It was noted since it's been founded in 1972, the university has grown substantially in size and importance to the military health system, and thus to the nation because of its mission and commitment to develop leaders in the health professions dedicated to the excellence and care of those who go in harm's way, and developing the important advancement in clinical and basic science to improve life-saving and rehabilitation strategies needed to prevent and optimize recovery from illness and injury suffered by those who serve our nation. That is a glorious and laudable mission. I want to thank my predecessors, particularly Drs. Rice and Thomas here today, and also Dr. Roberts, who took the helm on short notice and carried the mission forward. I want to thank you